What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AKP Sports Talk. It's Ari. I'm Korea. Ari, we made it. We have finally made it to the month of August, which means we have football. And actually, coincidentally, today we have football. The first, game, any kind of game of football in the NFL today. Obviously, the Hall of Fame game. Obviously, just take it as you will. Just it's a Hall of Fame game, and I've heard, I believe, not a lot of those rookies for the Bears are going to be playing, stars like Caleb Williams and whatnot. So, take it at very, very lightly as you want to pick a side or whatnot. Obviously, just sprinkle a little something back. But obviously, it feels nice to be finally back with some NFL action tonight. But obviously, very unfortunate, very light slate for baseball today. Not much in the Olympics, but we still got something cooked up for you. Obviously, to kick off this month of August, recycling that month of July and that bankroll. Not a kind month for me, July. Not a kind month for me. So obviously, just glad to be in a new month here, August. We're gonna kick it off with two plays here on this five game slate. It's crazy. We have you got on one hand how many games we have on for the baseball slate. I got two picks for you. First, we're gonna go to Cleveland here in pretty much the battle of the two best teams you can honestly say in the American League, between the Guardians and the Orioles. And I'm just taking the Guardians here at home -110. You get them at a pick 'em. Orioles, they have not officially announced a pitcher on their side, but it's pretty much to be determined that it's going to be Trevor Rogers making his Orioles debut. Obviously coming from Miami in that trade, obviously that was right before the deadline hit. And then obviously on the other side is Ben Lively at home for the Guardians. I just like backing the Guardians at home. We always like to say, if the Guardians are pretty much in a good pick 'em spot at home, we do like to back them. And obviously the Guardians, one of the better teams right now at home. Their offense plays a lot better at home. And, if once they probably announce it's going to be Trevor Rogers, I don't really like him in this spot, coming off his, first start in a new uniform. Obviously, we'll see how he does. But, I'm just backing the Guardians here, and we always like to talk about the bullpen advantage. Guardians definitely have a slighter bullpen advantage. Obviously, both teams have a pretty decent bullpen, but the Guardians at home, I do lean them at home with their bullpen. So I'm just taking the team with all the advantages at home in terms of their hitting and the bullpen. I'm just taking the Guardians here at home. You're getting them at a pick 'em here, so I like that -110. So that's my first play there. And then we're going to a team I haven't really backed much this year. I'm going to go with the Marlins here, first 5 plus half a run here. We're getting it for +105 here, so a little bit of plus money value there. The thing about this game is the fact that the Marlins are such big underdogs, and I didn't want to back them full game because I know that bullpen is absolutely just the Marlins bullpen is empty. They traded everyone. They don't have a bullpen. They're calling up guys, from Chick-fil-A down in Atlanta. They're calling guys off the streets. They don't have a bullpen, so that's why I don't want to take anything bullpen. And we're mostly backing Max Meyer here in this spot. He's a pretty decent pitcher. He's still kind of getting into his form. Obviously, he came up last year, or I think the year before. I don't know officially when he came. I think it was 2 years ago when he came up, or a year ago for the Marlins. And he's had some experience. And I think this is a good spot because first of all, the Braves being -200, it should be red alert. Do not bet this team. First of all, anything bet over 200 as a money line you should avoid, but especially the Braves. Their offense is so bad right now. I don't really back, especially against right-handed pitching. I don't really want to back this team for a full game, and I don't really want to back the Marlins for a full game, so that's why I'm targeting the first 5 here. I think the Marlins keep this one close. I know the first 5 money line, I think, is around the same price. I think for the Braves, I think it's around -200 or something. So I think they just think that the Braves get out to a good lead here. But you look at the Marlins, and this is a team that they've already sold, right? They already know that when you look at a team that has nothing to play for, they play with a lot more energy, right? We saw it with that rookie who just hit for the cycle. They lost, obviously, but he hit for the cycle. So you look at the hitters right now for this Marlins team, outside of Jake Berger and Jesus Sanchez and the guys that they didn't trade, and you just see a bunch of young guys just trying to get their opportunity. They do, and you look at Charlie Morton, obviously not the most reliable pitcher here. I'm just backing the Marlins to not be down by more than one. I think they keep this thing really interesting through 5 innings. I think the Marlins could even win this game, full game, but I don't want to take anything with their bullpen. I don't like their bullpen. It's scary to me right now, and I'm just backing more of the fact that Max Meyer, obviously a right-handed pitcher, and the Braves, they stink against right-handed pitching. They stink. They can't hit right now, especially right now. Matt Olson looks like a shell of himself. Acuna and Harris, two of their more exciting, lively bats in the lineup, obviously out for, Acuna out for a very long time. We just got word that Acuna might be back for the opening day next year. We'll see. And then Michael Harris, obviously, he's been out for, months now. So, the Braves offense just looks like a shell of themselves, and I don't want to back a minus 200 team, when I don't think they're that capable of even potentially having a lead in the first place. So I think there's a great value there for the Marlins just to not be losing throughout that first five, just getting them at first five plus half a run here, plus 105 there. I think they keep things really interesting throughout that first five, and I don't have to worry about that bullpen because I know the Marlins bullpen is pretty empty. It's empty. It's all gone, and they're calling up a bunch of guys, like I said, from the streets or from AAA or wherever, getting their opportunity to shine, and I don't want to have to trust them, in any matchups against the Braves. So I think the Marlins first five plus half a run there at plus 105 is great value there. So those are my two plays. The Guardians on a pick 'em there at home, and then the Marlins first five plus half a run at plus 105. Ari, I know we got a short slate today. What do you like in this very, very tiny slate on this Thursday?
Yeah, like you said, I think only 5 MLB games, so not much to choose from, and there wasn't anything I loved. So I'm going straight to Canton. Texans first half. Obviously, like you said, there's gonna be no starters, so it's gonna be all backups. But we've seen some of these players play. Davis Mills we've seen play, and I'm looking at the Prize Picks lines. They have a few lines for a handful of players, and all the lines are higher, for Davis Mills than Bajent, for all the receivers. For it's supposed to be Mechie, Hutchinson, Skoranek. They're all overall combined higher than Tyler Scott, Dante Pettis. The guys that are, for the Bears are expected to play. So I'm just taking first half because I don't know. I don't want to get into the third strings and those players, but at least these backups like Davis Mills and Mechie, Damian Pierce, I think should be playing. So a lot of these players for Houston that are at least going to be playing the first half, we know and we've seen play, at the NFL level. They went from a -1 to -2 favorite for the full game. Which take that how you want, obviously, for the Hall of Fame game, but I'm just backing the first half Texans where we know, Davis Mills, Mechie, Pierce are going to be playing. I'm taking them over Bajent and Dante Pettis and, the Bears backups essentially. So pretty much simple as that. Obviously, like you said, it's the preseason, it's Hall of Fame game. So you can take it how you want, but obviously these guys are still competing for, at least backup roles to make the team, a lot of them. So they're still going to be, they're still going to be trying and everything. It's not like starters in the preseason that maybe aren't giving their full go. The backups are going to be giving it their full go. And, like I said, we've seen Davis Mills start, a number of games at the NFL level. Mechie had, health issues off the field. He's fully back and looking to, earn his, I guess, wide receiver 4 role behind, Diggs, Collins, and Dell. So Damian Pierce is, he's kind of the backup pretty much for sure, but, he'll still give it his all and all that. So I'm just taking the Texans to be leading at halftime. I guess, I don't know how long they're going to be playing. It could be a quarter. It could be a couple series. It could be a half. But I think first half's a little less, a little less risky than just first quarter because, the Bears could get the first possession and take the ball half the first quarter and, you get screwed there. So that's why first half safer than first quarter. Yeah. So, give me the Texans to be leading at halftime in this game where first football game, since February. So our first NFL game since February.
Yeah, already mentioned it. The last time we gave out a pick was for the Super Bowl back in February, and obviously the Chiefs -1.5 was Chiefs plus 1.5 was a great play for us right there. But now, obviously, finally back. Our first football play there. Obviously, you mentioned Texans first half minus half a point there, just pretty much have a lead at halftime. You mentioned, with these preseason games, it's a lot of kind of backups and third strings and, maybe some practice squad guys trying to get some good looks and maybe get their moment to shine, especially in that second half where a lot of those main backups that you mentioned, guys like, Davis Mills and Mechie, who should be on the team, obviously, but obviously due to health issues wasn't really a big factor. And then obviously, with the Texans bringing in Stephon Diggs, that wide receiver room definitely a little cluttered at the moment. So we'll definitely get to see some of him tonight. And you mentioned on the other side, obviously no Caleb Williams, and obviously he presumed starter alongside Odunze and all those big names at the Bears drafted. But obviously they still have Bajent, you mentioned, who has had some backup experience. And when you look at which backups you want to back throughout the first half, you like the Texans a little more. I do like that play for you, just backing the better backups essentially. Obviously, you mentioned you don't really know how long they're going to be playing. If it's a snap, a series, a quarter, a quarter and a half. Obviously, and that's the thing with the first quarter. It's a little too risky. You mentioned it. Just say the Bears get the ball and they just drive it down, waste 7 minutes off the clock. That kind of ruins a first quarterback. It's not really quick scoring. So and all that, or opportunity to maybe get a lead there. So I like the first half there. Obviously, a lot safer for you. Just taking the Texans throughout the first half. Just to get a lead. Minus 110. Finally getting back into football. Just want to take something in the Hall of Fame game. I like that play for you. Coinciding with my two plays. Back on the diamond with the Guardians money line, and then the Marlins first 5 plus half a run at plus 105. You can find all 3 of these best bets and this video, of course, on our Twitter below, AKP Sports Talk. We will have all of that posted momentarily. That's going to do it for this episode of AKP Sports Talk. That is Ari. I'm Korea. We thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back momentarily, but obviously win some money, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace out, guys.